When a person has been abused by their spouse, they are faced with a decision whether to remain in their marriage, sometimes at the risk of their lives, or harm to their loved ones. Here today to discuss divorce and life after separation, a decision that requires physical, spiritual, and emotional support, is Slandy Noel. She is a divorce coach, a motivational speaker. She's the founder of Divorce Coaching Goddess LLC, a private coaching practice helping women to overcome the pain of divorce. Slandy is an alumni of the University of Massachusetts of Lowell, and she was born and raised in Haiti. And we are so happy to have her today discussing hope after divorce. Part 1.
It is such an honor and a privilege to have you join us today, Sunday. It's an honor to be in the presence and the company of movers and shakers in the community, game changers, author, just a mom, right?
Yeah.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Slandy Ogine-Noel. I'm an author. As you know, I'm a divorce coach. I help women to work towards their goals, short-term goals, mid-term, as well as long-term goals, helping them to overcome divorce and live a more fuller and fulfilling life after divorce. I quite enjoy doing my work. I mean, it's wonderful to be a mother, but it's also great to have other purposes in life. That's for sure.
And that's one of our things. To find your purpose is another level of living.
Yes.
Because there's a reason why you're doing things now. There is. So I'm happy once again to have you with us. International Women of Hope welcomes you, and today. We're just here. Personally, I've been following you. I know you're pretty much new to the community, and I've been following you. And you have a message of hope, which is what we are all about. You have a message of hope because sometimes people hear divorce. They think that you're here to break up families.
Yeah.
You're here to promote the separation of families.
Yes, that's true.
And after following you, your message is quite different. Your message to me says there's healing, there is hope ahead, and how not to make the same mistake that you've done before, and how not to repeat those things.
Yes.
So could you please tell me a little bit about what you are teaching women that have gone through that separation or that divorce or that death, because a divorce is a death to a relationship.
Yes, it is.
So
Yes, it is.
how do you go about telling women that there's hope?
Yes. The word divorce itself is very taboo, right? Especially in our own community. I'm Haitian, born and raised in Haiti. Although I live most of my life in Massachusetts, I do still have that Haitian culture, right? This is the way I was brought up. In our culture, divorce is not something that we talk about. Usually people get married and they stay married for life. It doesn't matter what happened, maybe abuse in the home or there's, infidelity. The woman is expected to endure and stay in the relationship. And as a divorce coach, oftentimes people first hear divorce. They hear the word divorce and they assume it means that you dare to separate couples, like you said. You dare to, put this huge wedge in families, especially breaking up nuclear family. And when in reality, that's not the case at all. My job as a divorce coach is not necessarily to tell a woman what to do with her life or how to live her life. My position as a coach is really to help guide her. When divorce happens, it's a death, like you said. It's a death of a relationship. Nobody gets married thinking, I'm gonna get divorced. No, you get married, you expect to have a long life partner, someone who's gonna be there with you, to grow old with you, to build a family with, and and take vacations with, and so forth. But sometimes things happen in a relationship where it breaks down, right? Maybe infidelity or abuse, like we mentioned before. it breaks down, where one partner feels like they can no longer stay in that relationship. And as you know, as a divorce coach, my job is I'm there to support, to be more like a soundboard for this person and help them to overcome it. Because, divorce can break someone down. Because when it happens, more often than not, it's unexpected. People are blindsided by it. They think their lives is as it should be, right? They're married. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to be whole. You're supposed to always have this partner. When in reality, though, that's not always the case. We can see a couple, we see what on the outside, but we don't know what's happening behind closed doors. And when one person decides to file for divorce, they need a lot of support, especially community support. They need family support. And oftentimes that's not what you get.
Right.
Because divorce it's a taboo topic. People are afraid of divorce. Once they hear it, they're thinking, well, if my friend is getting divorced, I have to stay away from her.
Yes.
Because I don't want it to happen to me. When in reality, that's not the case at all. The person needs more support than ever. They need you to be there to guide them, to love them, to help them make better decisions. Because more than 50% of first-time marriages will fail, regardless if we want to believe it or not. It does happen. But when it does happen, though, are we to leave that person behind and not allow them to heal and not support them to heal? It is our position in the community to really take a hold of it, right, and help this person to move forward in a more holistic way. Yeah. And not be destructive, because when you get divorced, oftentimes people fall into depression. It does happen.
It does.
Yeah.
And seeing what you do, dealing with women, or do you work with men as well?
No,
okay.
Although I've been, there are quite a few men who have asked me to coach them, but that is not from my experience.
Okay.
To tell the truth, it's mostly women that I work with. And it's not because I'm prejudiced. I haven't done anything against men, not at all. I do think, men need healing as well, because, divorce affects the family as a whole. It affects the children, it affects the mom, it affects dad in many ways. But I specialize, with women, and so I work with women. I know coaches who work with men. That is not my specialty.
So seeing and the experience with your background in working with these women, do you still believe in love and happily ever after?
Absolutely. I love love. I love seeing couples. I love seeing, people really working through the tough times and making it work. It's a beautiful testimonial. I've met quite a few couples who have gone through rough patches, but somehow they pull through, and it's a beautiful thing. I love it.
That's good.
Yes.
Where do you find inspiration for yourself, and also to give the women that you help? Where they come to you, they're depressed, they're going through, they want to give up, they don't know what the future looks like. They don't know. Some of them stay sometimes in these relationships because of financial reasons. Either they're not working or dependent upon the man. So they get to a point where they decide, okay, it's over. They made that step. They talk to you. Where do you find the inspiration, not only to fill yourself, because I know as women we help each other. Our cup has to be filled up as well before we can help others, but where do you send them to find inspiration? To
tell the truth, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. First and foremost, you put God first. For me, God has always been my guide. At any point, I know some people are like, well, that's common. Well, it has to be, right? God always has to come first, because when I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is pray. The first thing I do is meditate. I want to take that first 15 minutes of my day without looking at my phone, without, doing anything else, but being in the presence of God, because that's how you get overflown. That's how you get filled. And I tell all of my clients, the first thing you need to do, the first 30 minutes to an hour of your day, don't worry about social media. Don't worry about the kids.
Right.
Get up an hour early if you have to focus on what matters. Because God has allowed you to have your health, has allowed you to get up that morning. You need to recognize that, and you need to stay still and be present. before you go on about your day.
Okay.
So that's a great aspiration for me. Yes, yes, indeed.
So spirituality is very big
Yes,
for
absolutely.
you.
Absolutely.
What keeps you up at night? What are the stresses
Yeah.
that keeps you up, and what do you think as women in general? What are the things that you think are keeping women up at night?
You know, I find that for us women, we worry about everything. We worry about our jobs. We worry about the family, especially our children. For me personally, I'm more concerned about, you know, if I had a consultation with someone and I realized that this person needs more help than they even realize. You know what I mean? Like sometimes people are coming from relationships that are very toxic. And as much as you want to be able to help them, to guide them, you realize that that person is not ready. And that brings a lot of stress on me. You know, as much as, you know, you don't want to feel like, okay, you left something undone or you did not give as much as you wanted to.
Right.
So that brings a lot of stress on me. That's for sure. That is, yeah.
What is the best advice you've received?
Oh, seek healing first. And, you know, that's one of these is why that was the first cup that I picked up. Yes, before you get into any relationships, you know, before you, you know, because many people, when they first get divorced, they if they were married for a long time, they've never been alone. So they feel like they have to be in a relationship, they have to be seeing someone, when in reality that person hasn't healed yet. So, you know, the first thing that I remember my mother said to me, you know, no matter what, you need to seek healing. You need to make sure that you heal. You need to make sure that you whole before, you know, you do anything else. And so far it has worked for me. It has worked for me.
That's
yes.
good.